The most famous psalmist is David. This is not one of his psalms. This was written years and years after David was alive, after David had died. We've been talking about the history. I've been kind of giving you a history lesson of Israel and their plight. And we left it at Solomon, and we talked about Josiah last week. And this is a continuation, because after Josiah was king, the Babylonians came and they overran and they took Israel into exile. And there Israel lived. They destroyed Jerusalem, the city that they lived in, the city that they loved, the city of David, the city of God. The one place where everything centered around was destroyed, wiped out. The temple Solomon had built, that he took so precious time and care that the best gold and best fabrics on the curtains, whatever, it was like the stuff that was ransacked, pillaged, torn down. And Israel, the people of God, the chosen people of God, were sent into this place they did not know, they did not want to be. They were slaves and prisoners. The exile, one of the defining moments of Israel as a nation. How they live and exist today has a lot to do with that exile moment. Because they were there for years, generations upon generations. But they had something that they held on to. When everything else around them was falling, when everything else was going wrong, when everything else was being torn apart and taken from them, they held on to hope. It's first Sunday of Advent, the word is hope. Hope. You know what hope is? Oh, I hope I get an A on that paper. Oh, I hope that cute girl talks to me. Or girls hope that cute guy talks to me. You know? I hope. Or there's a difference between a hope and a wish, right? A wish is something that you hope that you want to happen, that you wish that you, I'm trying to use a word without using it in a definition, that you want to happen, and you kind of would like it to happen. Like, I wish I had $1 million. There's no way I'm going to get $1 million tomorrow. I can't rub a magic lamp from a genie and magically I get this. A wish may or may not happen. Right? I can wish upon a star all day and still end up with nothing. A hope is bigger than a wish. Hope is more meaty, has more substance to it. A hope is a wish, is a desire that you know is going to happen. You know without a doubt that it is going to happen because it was promised to you. And it's something you hold on to for a while because you know no matter how bad it gets, no matter how much it sounds like it's not going to happen, it is going to happen. It's hope. What keeps you going in the darkness. It's what keeps you going when the world falls apart, when you just want to scream and get angry. You know that your hope holds you down and keeps you calm. When you feel like just picking up a gun and putting it up to your head and blowing your brains out, hope stops you from doing that because you know it's going to get better than this. When we are in one of the worst economic situations since the Depression, I think. Or at least people in the news want wants us to know to hear that, or wants us to believe that. I may be right. We got people losing jobs. We got people going crazy. We got people going broke. We got people losing houses and stuff, losing everything they own. And they've got nothing to hold on to. They've got nothing to hold on to. That's the situation that Israel was in. And they wrote this song calling out, saying, God, I know that life looks like crap right now. Life looks horrible right now. Everything is going down, 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 down. I hit the bottom. I think I hit rock bottom, and suddenly that bottom fell out, and there was another bottom to hit. And I'm okay on that bottom, and then that bottom falls out, and guess what? It's another bottom to hit. Have I hit the bottom yet? I may have hit the third bottom, but God, I'm holding on to the fact that A, you have promised that you're going to make things better for me. That you have promised that you're going to return us to the land that you promised us. God, you promised it to us. Look at the couple things that he did. Looking at Psalm 80, their cry out is, God, you've done it before. Right? Verses 8 through 12 through 13, that's got a lot of imagery in there. A lot of poetic imagery of God taking this vine out of Egypt and planting it. Getting everything else out of that land. Does this sound like a familiar story? For those of you who it doesn't sound familiar to, that's what he did. They were slaves in Egypt. The whole nation of Israel was slaves in Egypt. And then this dude named Moses came up, parted this sea called the Red Sea, and God sent these things called the plagues, and they took them out and sent them to the promised land. And in that promised land, Moses screwed up and he didn't go into it, but there was this other guy named Joshua, right? Joshua led armies, and they knocked down buildings, tore down walls, killed people, chased other people out. And God took them and planted them in the promised land. The land that they told their grandfather Abraham that this is the land I'm giving you. This is your promise. And you will be here forever. And these Babylonians come. Right? The Assyrians take them out first, and then the Babylonians take them out again. And they said, God, you said we were going to be there forever. And we're going to hold on to that promise that you gave us this land. That you gave it to us. And we're going to hope that one day we'll get out of this Babylon, out of this exile, and into the land that you promised us. Holding on to that promise. We sit here and we go through all this stuff. I don't know what your lives look like, but sometimes it's hard to see the promise, right? God has promised us, Jesus promised us, believe in me, you'll have life and have it abundant. Abundant life. I don't feel like it's an abundant life all the time, do you? No? It's God promised it. Jesus says, one day I'm going to come back. One day I'm going to take everything and set it right. All the trouble, all the garbage that we deal with, God says, Jesus says, I'm going to conquer it, and you're going to be okay, and I'm going to handle everything. It doesn't feel that way all the time, but we hope. They were hoping for a way out. Did they get their way out back to Jerusalem? Yeah. But then these other guys came in and took over. And then these other guys came in and killed those guys and took over. So they were under Roman rule when Jesus was born, so they never had their own rule. They never had their own government anymore because they were always ruled by other people, but they were living in their promised land. And God says, I will set everything right. And that is what the psalm is all about. somebody named Asaph calling out to God, yelling at God, still holding on to the hope. It's going to be better. The Carol of the Bells. Anybody know where that came from? It's actually from,
Ukraine.
It actually came from the Ukraine. It was a chant that they sang, that they chanted before the beginning of the new year, anticipating something new, anticipating what's coming up. Change. That everything at the new year has a fresh start. Everything in the new year, the year to come, will be better than the year we just left. It's kind of what this promise is. That everything, that the coming of the Messiah is going to set everything right. The coming of the Messiah will make this world a better place. Hold on to hope. When life is dark and you can't see the top because you've fallen through the third bottom, hold on to hope. Hold on to hope that Christ will help you out. And in this emotionally charged New Year's season, Christmas, Advent season, let that hope give you peace. Let's see let that hope just